Russell. I called you Chris Russell, and I can never explain how sorry I am. To our fearless leader, Chris Rumble, I do apologize with all my heart. Guys, what's up? Toogie here, back again with another episode of my Seattle Sea franchise mode series right here on NHL 18. Again, the most ridiculous version of a Draft to Glory series I have ever had, where of course there's no trading, there's no free agent signings outside of, signing someone like a Rumble. There's no legitimate free agent signings, no trading. We can only build a team through the draft, and of course, in this series, we are only building the team through players from one of the 4 Washington State-based teams in the WHL. Why? Because I like a challenge. That's why. Are we going to find success in the series? Probably not. But again, right now, the team's looking okay for the early stages. The team's looking better than I would have thought the team would be looking. And that's not saying much, because this is a bad team. I mean, we have Bengoa. Anderson Dolan's going to be on this team for his entire career, I can only assume. Yamamoto, there's a little bit of hope. Riley Sutter, there's a little bit of hope. Morgan Geekie might be our 4th-line center for a very long time to come. And then after that, it's a little bit rough, aside from Chuck Lorenz. I mean, Belfour's up there too. Defensively, it's an absolute mess right now. But hey, we're still in the early stages. And not to mention, too, of course, our goaltending is just a tire fire. But we'll look to improve. That is the point. I like a challenge. That's what we're doing. The only thing we have to do here now, before we get into the season sim for this episode, is, of course, to set up scouting. 75 forwards, 60 defensemen, and 15 goaltenders? One can only hope that there is a goaltender here that can be our man between the pipes for a decade plus to come. Is that going to happen? Probably not. I mean, the odds of getting a solid medium elite goaltender, they're relatively high this year. Whether or not they end up with a decent starting overall to really help out and to make sure that they make it to the NHL level, it's a little bit less consistent. The odds of getting a medium elite goaltender from one of the 4 teams that we can actually draft from, the odds are so incredibly slim. But man, if it happens, that's the thing. I don't know if in the previous Draft to Glory, if you haven't watched Goon Squad, feel free to do so. I really enjoyed the hell out of that series, and I think you would too if you've been watching this series. I don't know if we needed my best draft pick ever to find success in that series. It certainly helped. I think we're going to need another player the quality of a Frederick McDonough to pull off any sort of success here. Now, we did win a preseason game, and we also won our season opener against Columbus. That was going to be my question to you, is, of course, how many wins do you think we'll have this season? 5? Somehow 10? What do you think we're going to hit this season? I'm hoping for 5 wins. One way or another, of course, we do know that we'll have the best odds of getting the number 1 overall pick in the upcoming draft. The question, of course, is whether or not we have a player available. I could look at the draft class to find out for sure, but I kind of like the surprise of getting to draft day and finding out on that day whether or not getting the number 1 overall pick was a little bit of a wasted opportunity. After the first month, we have 1 win and an overtime loss. 3 points on the season. The Evergreens as well, not doing all that hot, which you really wouldn't expect. Traditionally, in a Draft to Glory series, the AI for sure, the AHL teams don't do that well. Oh my god, we have 3 wins in Tacoma and 2 wins with the main team as we beat the Ottawa Senators. Make that 3 wins with the NHL club as we beat the Islanders. That 5-win guess might have been a little bit low. I mean, it's not like we're going to be competing for a wild card spot anytime soon, but 5 wins for this team is an accomplishment. Of course, in the early stages, we had some players like Joffrey Lupul. Oh my god, we beat Buffalo too. We had some teams in the early stages like Lupul and Shane Doan, so we did a little bit better than you would have expected, but for where we are right now, The fact that we have 4 wins is incredible. Obviously, when you look at the team, I think that you would agree. It's pretty ridiculous that we have 4 wins right now on the season. The big thing, though, of course, with any draft to glory, but particularly at this point in time, of course, in the early stages, is player development, player progression. And there's not a ton of players that I have hope for. Of course, we do have a lot of AHL potentials. The main thing in these early stages, Bengoa, Yamamoto, how well are they going to progress? And again, on defense, unless someone like Ty Smith at a high AHL top 2 just kind of turns it on out of nowhere, we're in a little bit of trouble. Just a tad bit. So I'm thinking heading into this draft, I mean, we have a couple of decent forwards. We really need that defensive help. We really need that goaltending help. Will we get it? Probably not, but you never know. Miracles have happened in the series before as we get win number 5 on the year, beating the Devils 3-2 in overtime. So look at that, 5-33-5, midway through January. Tacoma sitting on 9 wins as well. I'm liking it. I'm feeling good about this team, if you couldn't tell. I mean, considering what they are, I'm feeling okay about this team. There's promise. There's hope. There's very little hope, but there's hope. And when there's hope, I mean, even if it's just a little bit, again, even if it's just a little bit, you never know. Good things could happen as we beat Winnipeg in overtime as well. And we have won 2 out of 3 after beating the Ottawa Senators. That is tremendous. We're into the month of February. 3 wins away from hitting 10 on the season. 7 overtime losses, by the way. So we are on a pretty good point pace, all things considered. The Buffalo Sabres, not so much. And we beat them, so that's tremendous. 8 wins now on the year. I should have gone on the record. If I had to have guessed, I would have said probably like 6 wins. So I'm not going to lie and be like, yeah, I would have said 11 wins. Like, no. I'm shocked that we have as many points as we do, that's for sure. But we'll see what happens here as we get closer to the trade deadline. I might take a look at the point totals. I might just sim to the end of this season and then take a look at all the stats all at once up front and get that over and done with. I don't know if it's just me, man. I feel like the sim is going a little bit slow today. I don't know. I feel like it's taking it's not on a very good pace here. I don't know. Maybe that's just me because this is the first video today that I'm recording. I don't know. Maybe I'm just low on things to talk about. So it feels like this is simming at a snail's pace right now, which it definitely is. But thankfully, hey, there we go. Scouting. Yeah. Defense for another 6 weeks because that's all we can do. For the love of God, just get me to the alert about, hey, it's almost trade deadline time. You know that thing that you're never going to do because you don't trade in this series of yours? Okay, seriously, I'm not losing my mind at this point. This is going very, very slowly this morning, and I don't know why. But there is the alert about the deadline as we picked up our 9th overtime loss, shootout loss against Pittsburgh, 8-45-9. Okay, you know what? Fine, I'll take a look at the stats. Let's stop this for a moment because this feels like we've done what we've been calling the Milbury mode runs on Twitch quite a bit, which is where you have the trade block completely open so that you get as many offers as possible. That causes the game to run very slowly. This is almost on the same level this morning. So again, I don't know what the hell's going on, but Trent Bengoa is a monster. 51 points in 63 games. Think of the talent he has around him at an 82 overall. The good thing is Anderson Dolan's definitely improved up to a 77 and Kyler up to a 76. Of course, the plus-minus numbers are horrific, but, you know, oh my God, Belfour. Oh my God. He doesn't have any points. Oh, that's what we needed. That is what we needed in a series like this. I just didn't expect it from a player like him. You normally expect that big of a player development jump from a low elite. Belfour has already gone from a 59 to a 70. Jesus. I mean, like, Anderson Dolan's only improved by 1 point, but he's showing up as a 77. Belfour has legitimately gone from a 59 to a 70. That is ridiculous. So to end this season, we are absolutely giving him better ice time. My God, where the hell did that improvement come from? Sami Moilanen, I believe it is. Who do we want to drop? I guess it should just be Leeson, and we'll bump up Belfour. To be honest, Morgan Geekie, you've done all right this season. I'll leave him there, but we'll bump up Belfour to the third line, and then defensively, it's still a little bit rough. We have Petit, and Stankowski there. That's, you know what? They're actually both closer to 900 for save percentages than I thought they'd be, so that's not too bad. But the big story for this season, Trent Bengoa performing at an all-star level, and Belfour with all-star level development out of nowhere. Let's go ahead and sim here. It's a late end of the season on April 12th. But let's move on. Will we hit the 10? I was going to say the 10 win mark, and it came out the 10 win mark. Will we hit the 10 win mark is my question. So far, not so good, although we are picking up pity points along the way, as we have done all season long. Losing in a shootout to Edmonton and New Jersey, losing to Boston in overtime. But it's looking like, and indeed we did, go throughout the entire month of March without a win, and that 10-win season isn't going to happen, barring a miracle of back-to-back wins, and indeed, it will not be happening. So we will finish with the maximum of 9 wins. Let's be honest, it's going to be 8. I don't think we're going to beat the Islanders. Tacoma finished with 17 wins, which is a little bit better than I expected, really, because that team, you want to talk about a team being just an outright and absolute disaster? Tacoma, because again, we haven't put any effort into making that team any better, because we really haven't had the reason to. But there we go. The season sim has come to an end. Trent Bengoa, 65 points in 82 games. Let's take a look, though, first around the league. Then we'll get into the stats. We'll take a look at the playoff tree, and then we'll get into it. So we finished with 28 points in the regular season. Not too bad. Again, an 8-62 and 12 record. Let's look around the league, though. As far as goals for per game, we were at a 1.78. The second worst in the league was a 2.09. That is abysmal from the Sharks. Goals against, 385. So we averaged 4.7 goals against per game. But that number is better than it was last season, which I guess can't be too much of a surprise. A 14.9% power play, which was not the worst in the league. Detroit, what are you doing with your life? What are you doing? You finished 15th in the league, but you had a worse power play than we did. That does not make sense. We also gave up 13 shorthanded goals. Oh my God. Our PK, though, was worse in the league. The worst in the league at 73.9%. 2 wins at home, 6 on the road. We end the season losing more than 10 consecutive games. But again, I'm feeling positive. I mean, I haven't seen a ton of the player progression, of course. We'll take a look before we go into the draft once the season is completely finished. But Trent Bengoa, 65 points, 25 goals. Kyler at 56 points, Anderson Dolan at 55, and Morgan Geekie as well with 45. Very impressed with that. Wedman put up 32. Sutter put up 32. Much better point totals than I would have expected. Brett Leeson at 22, and from there, it really dropped. Chris Russell Rumble. I said it on purpose that time, okay? It's a joke. I'm going to start calling... Maybe his middle name's Russell. Did you ever think of that? It probably isn't, but you never know. Belfour, though, up to a 70. That is insane. And Dawson Butt with 7 points. What a guy. For goaltending, an 8.83 for Stankowski, an 8.78 for Mario Petit. 7 wins for Stankowski. But hey, Petit got a win, which is insane. Who the hell saw that coming? I certainly didn't. The NHL wins leader was Stolarz. 50 wins in 67 appearances. What the hell went on in Philadelphia? In terms of the rookie race, because we're already here, it's going to be Bradley Reimer, 62 points. Second highest point total was Marshall Legg, a rookie from the Sens. And around the league, the point totals 97 points for both Tarasenko and Kane. 54 goals for Tarasenko. That did not lead the league, though. Ovi, with 57 goals at 35 years old. That's ridiculous. He, Tarasenko, and McDavid were the only three to break the 50-goal mark this season. Plus-minus king was Provorov, and Ghost Bear Rumble at a minus 130. The penalty minute king was a Dotchin. Please tell me it was Dotchin. It was not. Jordan Nolan, the penalty minute king. For the hell of it, I want to look at something like power play points as well. Trent Bengoa led the league in power play points. That's why I like to look at some of these stats, because how the hell did that happen? 30 of Bengoa's 65 points came on the power play. That would be why we didn't have the worst power play in the league. It's because Trent Bengoa decided, you know what? No, I am taking advantage of this opportunity. The hit king was Bo Horvat, the block shot king, Tishka, Rumble. Again, that's just because we never have the puck, so obviously our defensemen are going to be able to block more shots. Most giveaways went to Patrick Nemeth, most takeaways went to Sidney Crosby. He might win the Selke off of that alone. We'll take a look. And then the fight king, McElrath, Dotchin, and Nolan, all above 20. So there you have it. The regular season wrapped up in a tight little bow. We will take a look at the full bracket here before simming the rest of the season. A tight little bow. Is that how you would describe a bow? It might be. Maybe. It is now. The playoff tree. The Flyers are the favorites. No real surprise seeing Stolarz with the wins that he does, with the wins that he has. It's Winnipeg and Vegas in the first round, which in real life might be the Western Conference Final. Vegas clinched last night, which is insane. Or clinched in terms of making it to the conference final. Nashville, Colorado, Edmonton, Anaheim, Vancouver, and St. Louis. We have Carolina, Columbus, Philadelphia, Toronto, Montreal, Tampa, and Boston, Washington in the East. Will the Flyers, will the best team in the regular season, will they find success? Will the Philadelphia Flyers win the Stanley Cup? We will find out. I'm gonna have to go with Vegas, though. You see Vegas in the playoffs, you gotta bet on Vegas because puns and gambling. So why not? Am I gonna get the alert? By the way, normally I go into the calendar menu. Am I gonna get the alert about scouting further? I don't think I will from here. I honestly have no idea. If I don't, it's not the end of the world because, okay, well, there we go. That answers my question. I was going to say, it's not the end of the world because we have already scouted out, everything that we could. It's still a little bit upsetting to know that we won't have exact potentials on every single player in the WHL. We probably should, but of course that's not how it works, as the Flyers do, in fact, win the Stanley Cup. The best team in the regular season, for once, finds a way to win it all. The Flyers are your champions after beating Winnipeg in 7. So Winnipeg beat Vegas in 6, Nashville in 6, and Vancouver in 5. Philly beat Toronto in 7, Carolina in 7, Tampa in 6, and then Winnipeg in 7. The Springfield Thunderbirds, the worst AHL franchise in all of the universe, wins the Calder Cup, beating the Grand Rapids Griffins in 6. Let's take a look at what a Stanley Cup winning team looks like. Of course, we know that Anthony Stolarz was the man between the pipes, and yeah, their offense delivered. Giroux, of course, they still have Braden Shen, Couturier, Voracek, Nolan Patrick up to an 87, all of them putting up 21 points or more. Travis Konechny with 18 points. From there, it kind of drops off, but Backlund, Oscar Lindblom, Donskoy, Bolesky, Lawton, and Brett Ritchie. Interesting stuff. On defense, Ghost Bear, Provorov, Philippi Myers, Mark Giordano, Travis Sanheim, and TVR Trevor Van Riemsdyk. The goaltender was Stolarz at an 88 overall. He played all 27 games with a .929 save percentage. The Philadelphia Flyers are Stanley Cup champions. So far in this sim, we have seen Pittsburgh, Tampa, St. Louis, and Philadelphia. Of course, they also won the President's Trophy, as did Pittsburgh in year 1. So is there a President's Trophy curse? Apparently not. The Art Ross goes to Tarasenko. McDavid wins the Hart. The Norris to Ole Ulevi. Lady Bing again to Patrick Kane. The Calder goes to Reimer. As expected, Stolars wins the Conn Smythe. Tuukka Rask, the Vezina. I love it. He also won the Jennings. Jarrett Tishka. For the second straight year, and now 3 out of 4 years, we have the Masterton Award winner, Jarrett Tishka. Way to go, buddy. McDavid wins the Selke, not Crosby, although I think McDavid was up there for takeaways as well. Tarasenko wins the Ted Lindsay, and Ovi wins the Rocket Richard. Down in the AHL, that is Ben Smith, I do believe. He put up the most points for the Rampage. He was also the league MVP. He also scored the most goals. Bickle was the Rookie of the Year, also of the Rampage. Vili Saariarvi was the Defenseman of the Year. Jaro Halak, Goaltender of the Year. And Samuel Montembeau, the MVP of the playoffs. And that concludes the 2020-2021 season. Bengoa showing up as an 85. The last thing to do is to take a look at our progress reports before hearing our fate. Will we get another number 1 overall pick? I certainly hope so. Or just in general, will we get a number 1 overall pick? Bengoa is a legitimate 84, currently playing like an 85 at 20 years old. That is tremendous. Kyler Yamamoto is a legitimate 75, playing like an 80. Anderson Dolan's a 76, currently a 79. Sutter is a legit 73. Morgan Geekie had some improvements, currently playing like a 75 overall, but no green stats. That's what I just said, so feel free to quote that. TJ Brennan down to a 72. Chuck Lorenz, the low elite grinder, is up to a 71. Stephen Belfour, again, tremendous improvement from a 59 to a 70. Wedman up to a legit 68, playing like a 70. Ehrhoff and Horton regressed. Tishka, some improvements, but no green overall there. Same for Leeson. Rumble still a 66. Wyatt Wiley is up to a 66. Malainen improved by an overall point. Ty Smith went up by 2. And that is, Morrisseau from a 56 to a 65. Not too bad. Of course, not expecting Kobe to really do anything for us in the series, but that's some solid improvement. Matt Leduc goes up by 2 points. Dawson Butt from a 57 to a 61. Sasha Mutala from a 56 to a 61. I think I said Butt from a 57 to a 61. I might have said 56 accidentally. Regardless. Cody Savey from a 55 to a 59. 3-point improvement for Jake Lee. And the 1 point from Luke Gallagher. And, of course, Bradley Saunders, arguably the worst draft pick. I mean, the previous Draft to Glory series resulted us, in getting the best draft pick in the history of this channel. Maybe, perhaps, the best draft pick in the history of any YouTube series. I mean, if you don't know who I'm talking about, educate yourself. But this series might have brought to us the worst draft pick in history, that being Bradley Saunders. So we've made history in this series one way or another. But again, the 2020-2021 season has come to an end. Let us find out where our first round draft pick will be. That is the question, and it will be 4th overall. Ottawa, San Jose, and Buffalo all jump ahead. So we have the 4th overall pick in this draft. As far as retired players go, Ehrhoff retires. I'm shocked that Horton did not join him. We didn't lose any goaltenders. Of course, we have seen players retire early. Reginald Chung in Goon Squad comes to mind, as Miller, Ward, Howard, and Niemi all retire. Peter Budaj as well. And as far as the skaters go, Marian Hossa, Henrik Sedin, Zetterberg, Pavelski, and numerous others, all of which there were quite a few guys to retire with a ton of NHL games played. So we know we have the 4th overall pick. Will there be a player who's not that far off the board available to us? That is the question. There might be a WHL player projected to go that high, but will there be a player eligible for us? And clearly, we have a chance with how many high elites and exact elites we have at this stage. The WHL continuing to produce solid talent. We'll go to the WHL. Let's see here. So Hordachuk is on Moose Jaw, not eligible. Hale is on Saskatoon. Cassian, Prince George. Marlowe, Portland. Yasina is Tri-City Americans. Alan Yasina, I don't think he'll fall to the 4th overall pick. So Alan Yasina is the only hope we have, and I just don't see him falling to number 4. So we have missed out on Alan Yasina. Hale goes number 1, which is shocking. Will San Jose screw up? No, they will not. Medium elite, 77 overall. That would have been a tremendous addition to this team. It did not happen. Hordichuk goes 3rd. That brings up the Sea Cattle with the 4th overall pick. So again, we know that Cassian is not eligible. Marlowe is not eligible. But we do still have players projected inside the top 10, and this could be a difference maker. MacArthur of the Rocket. Lethbridge for Reardon. Bolt is on Brandon. We have 2 players left, and one of them needs to be decent, or Oshie. I still see Oshie there as well. Gainey's on Regina, as is Borodziuk. So we're going to have to look at picks who are projected to go later in the first round. So starting off, we have Moore. Ronnie Moore of the Tri-City Americans is a possibility. Oshie of the Everett Silvertips. That is our pick. There's no doubt about it. Oshie is the pick. Oh my God, there's Jake Bengoa. The brothers Bengoa? I could have the brothers Bengoa. Oh my God, what do I do? I mean, the pick here is obvious with Oshie. But how could I pass up on having the Bengoa brothers? Are you kidding me? Medicine Hat, let me look at the rest of this. Medicine Hat, Red Deer, and that's it. So we have 3 players eligible. We have Ronnie Moore of the Tri-City Americans, who, I mean, I would guess is probably not going to be that good. It comes down to one of the two. We either get the goaltender that we need in Joshua Oshie, of course, of the Everett Silvertips, 18 years old, exact elite, or we go for the memes and we pick who I would absolutely say is Trent's brother. What are the odds that there are 2 Bengoas from the same I think Trent was a Silvertip as well. Oh my God, EA, you always have to find a way to screw with me, don't you? You always have to find a way. God, this sucks. The brothers Bengoa. Like, there's no way he's gonna fall to the second round either, right? I have to do the right thing. I have to take Joshua Oshie. This game always finds a way. I should be ecstatic. We talked about it earlier this episode. What are the odds that we're going to get an elite goaltender? We have one in Josh Oshie. But it taunts me with another Bengoa. God, hold on a second. Okay, first round projected, right? Okay, so Bengoa's up there. There's no way he falls. There's no way. Trent, I'm sorry. We can't draft your brother. You're not going to be the Sedins. You're going to be more like the Kachucks. Josh Oshie is our pick. I hit A, not B. That is very strange. Oshie is the pick. He is a 51, which you could kind of tell he was going to be by the attributes. But I had no choice. We needed an elite level goaltender in this system. So yeah, a 51 overall for the 4th overall pick. Obviously that's harsh, but there's no guaranteeing that Oshie would have been available later on, and we could not sacrifice, we couldn't take that risk. We couldn't make that sacrifice of potentially missing out on him. Bengoa goes 14th overall to the Minnesota Wild, medium top 6, 61 overall. So we will be seeing more of him, more than likely, as as he's a member of another Western Conference team. We get the goalie we needed. If I end up with another medium elite goaltender, I'm going to be so disappointed because I could have had Bengoa. But let's see here. So we have Bishop. That is amazing. Even if he's low elite, the first player, Steven Bishop of the Seattle Thunderbirds. I talked about it. We need defense. We need goaltenders. Both have shown up from there. Van Kadishin's not available. I just want to get a look at who is available the rest of the way here. There's a lot of WHL players in this draft. Lackey on Kootenay. Again, we're looking for Seattle, Spokane, Tri-City, or Everett. And so far, at least for the top of this draft, it's been very solid for us. Setaguchi's not available. We have David Dillman. Oh, that's a great name. David Dillman. I know the potential's not great, but again, I mentioned this in the last episode, medium bottom 6 players for us are a lot more valuable in a series like this, especially as compared to the AHL potential players. Lost my train of thought there. Rourke on Edmonton. Okay, so certainly after the second round here, the quality is going to dip in a big time way. Like a big time way, as we have Bruce Garvin in the 7th round, and then it drops off from there. But maybe, just maybe, we'll be able to find a steal later on. No question who our pick is here to begin the second round. It is going to be 18-year-old offensive D-man Stephen Bishop, who one way or another, even if he's exact, even if he's low elite, is the best defensive prospect we have in our system by far. He is low elite. He's a 59 overall. Low elites in this game have a great tendency to develop. So I am very excited for Stephen Bishop, and I'm not overwhelmingly disappointed at the fact that he's low elite. Obviously, it would have been great if he was a medium elite, but I'm not complaining. We needed a great defenseman and a great goaltender. We've gotten both so far in this draft. No complaints. A medium, top 4, 68 overall enforcer, John Lall. That's, again, talk about taunting me. That would have been a great pickup in the Goon Squad series, but it is what it is as we'll scroll through the second round here. I know I'm scrolling through relatively quickly, but hey, time is money. Start of the third round. Who are we going to get here? Again, nobody else was available aside from Dillman. Dillman's not a terrible pick right now. I mean, we're going to end up with Dillman. We're going to end up with Garvin, and then we'll start looking for steals. So just let me double check here. I don't know. I'm a little bit paranoid. I feel like I might have missed something, but yeah, regardless, yeah, Dillman's the pick. All right, so David Dillman, great name. Expect him to be a low 60 at best, but we'll see what happens here. Please just at least be medium bottom 6. High bottom 6 would be tremendous. Just don't be low. Thank you. Medium bottom 6, a 54 overall, which, I was hopeful with the 60 overall. I know, but 54 isn't completely terrible. Again, that's why I started this Draft to Glory style series, is because I wanted to add more importance to a medium bottom 6 player instead of just being, kind of like we've run into trouble with the Ottawa series lately, where outside of the first 2 rounds, it's like, okay, well, either I can trade these picks to get someone off the trade block of another team, or I can make the picks and more than likely end up just completely swinging and missing because it's, so little odds. The chance is so minimal that you end up with someone actually half decent. So that's why I like this series. And as I mentioned, I didn't expect to bring back Draft to Glory as quickly as I have, but I'm digging this series, that's for sure. We will take Garvin, Bruce Garvin, again, fingers crossed for a medium potential and not a low potential. If I had to bet, I'm going to say he's going to be a low potential guy, and he is as a 7th round pick. So low top 6, 55 overall. Garvin, again, not great, but it could be worse, technically, with an AHL potential. Again, the emphasis has certainly been on the first 2 rounds. That is where this series will either thrive or completely fizzle out, is whether or not we can get that talent in the first 2 rounds. This draft is very kind, but these late round picks, I'm not expecting much. I'm not hoping for much either, so, at least I have my expectations in the right place. Let's take a look here. Is there anybody? So we checked through all of this. There was nobody else available, unless I missed somebody, which, again, that thought scares the hell out of me, because then I'll just get roasted in my own comment section because I missed somebody. So let me double check through one more time, because it might have happened. Again, I haven't seen a single player from the Spokane Chiefs. We also have Tri-City, Seattle, and Everett. And indeed, there is nobody left. So if we sort by potential, is there anybody projected to be undrafted? The answer is no, with the exception of Horton, who is available, Drew Horton. So that's helpful to start. And then from there, we have AHL potential players who we can go for and hope that they're high AHL top 6, Or we can go for some of these other players that, I mean, like this guy right here, Volk, on Seattle, luckily enough, but we don't know anything about him. 0 times scouted, which is absurd given the amount of times we scouted each region. But again, that's just kind of how it works. Again, any of these players, I have a feeling they're just going to be hot garbage. Rankin, I can't help but think, you know, again, potential-wise, he's going to be just an outright disaster. Glass on Prince Albert, so not eligible. Do we have any other, again, 0 times scouted players? Oh my god, Byron Fancy. How have I not? I swear, maybe I've seen that name. I recognize Boston. I don't recall seeing a Byron Fancy anytime lately. Kenny Anderson's not available. We have Crane on the Spokane Chiefs, never scouted, so he might be worth it. Maybe. There is also Kirby Dotch, still available. And again, it's a damn shame that EA, at least at the start of the year, had him so lowly rated, as he'll never make an appearance in the NHL, which is kind of garbage. Is there any of these players here? Again, the fact that we have some players that we don't have any information on is mind-boggling to me. I know we only have 30 seconds left, and considering the situation we're in right now, I mean, I'm going to have to call a timeout. Yeah, here, let me call a timeout now. You know what, I don't think I need to call 2. I don't think I need to call 2. So we have 5 minutes here. Let's see who else we can find. We'll scroll through the unknowns in hopes of finding somebody, anybody, for the love of God, please. As we get Eric Van Imp from the Spokane Chiefs, he might be worth it. We have Corvo, Cody Siemens from Vancouver, Robertson's on Edmonton, Korczak, good old Caden Korczak, better than Cademan. Eric Getzlaff of the Spokane Chiefs as well. Right. Again, 18 years old, defensive D-man. He might be worth it. This is where we could make or break this series, is finding these complete unknowns that might be half decent. It's like Rankin, I'm going to remove. Volk, it's like, do we take the risk on Volk? Do we take the risk on Crane? So we have some of these guys that are complete unknowns and others that, I mean, might work out. I feel like Horton has to be the pick here. So I'm going to go with Drew Horton at this stage, who is a low top 9, 55 overall. So that worked out tremendously well. Again, a low top 9 potential for us is tremendous for this type of series. We'll scroll through the 5th round here. I gotta admit, I'm not really paying attention, so let me know if there's a crazy steal. Although in saying that, I'm now paying attention. So I'm just playing mind games with myself to get me to pay attention. It's fine. A couple of decent, late 5th round potentials there, but nothing too crazy. Who do we go for here? Let's go back to the WHL. And let's see. So we had Van Imp. We need to mark Getzlaff and McQuaid. Is there anybody else? Sidhu. Carpenter's not eligible. Jones on Lethbridge. Warner. As tedious as this is, it is at least worth double checking. Billy Corvo on Kootenay. Valette. Don Huskins of the Tri-City Americans. We'll remember that name. We will remember that name. Landry. Isbister. Rodney Cracknell also available to us. So Cracknell is there. Copeland, Brindamore, Toms. I mean, at this point, though, it's all just best guess, right? Which I got to admit, if we have, we have 2 picks left in this draft. We need to find a defensive steal. That's the way to go. So let me go back to all skaters. Let me go to our pinned players here at this point. We'll take out Volk. And then from here, I don't know. I don't know. I may have to go off of name more than anything with these guys. Robertson, Garcia, Spaling, Jarvis, Huskins was eligible, and was it Bobolev? No, it wasn't Bobolev. It was Valette. It was not Valette. Damn it, who was it? Please don't tell me it was the guy whose name I said I was going to remember. Either way, we're good. Let's see here. So pinned players, we have Crane, Van Imp as an offensive defenseman. So we have 1 two-way, 1 offensive D, and 3 defensive defensemen. I'm going to take Eric Van Imp here. From Spokane, 19 years old. Eric, please be half decent. You are not. It's a swing and a miss, but it's a 6th round selection, so what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Again, these are going to be the picks. If we ever find a steal here, that is what, that's going to be the moment that either makes or break the series. Oh my god, the amount of low elites getting freaking tongue-tied here just because I don't know what the hell is going on with all of these low elites. That is insane. To the 7th round we go. Our final pick of this draft. Will one of these players, whoever we pick between these 4, will they be a steal? We have Lance Crane, the 18-year-old two-way. We have Edgar McQuaid, 19 years old. I'm going to take him off the list. Eric Getzlaf, and Don Huskins. Crane, Getzlaf, or Huskins. Crane at least has a listed potential, but it's terrible. So I'm going to take him out of there. Eric Getzlaf from the Spokane Chiefs, or Don Huskins of the Tri-City Americans. 6'1" as a defensive D, 6'3", 211 as a defensive D. I'm gonna go for Getzlaf and hope for the best. And he's hot garbage. Alright, well, what can you do? As far as whether or not there are any 7th round steals, I mean, there might be, but let's just sim to the end of it. So it was a 2-player draft for us, although Horton was decent, but Oshie and Bishop are without a doubt the 2 biggest names to come out of that draft for us. I am still just so torn up inside having to miss out on Bengoa, but, it's not the first time EA's handed me one of these situations in a Draft to Glory series where I have to pick between the logical move and my heart. And this time I went with the logical move. We have picked up Oshie. And the good thing is as well, we can sign him for this season. And we will. Is he going to be the NHL starter? No, but he'll be the backup. Probably behind Stankowski, unless Petit ends up getting even better, ends up improving beyond that 65, which I'm not expecting. So Oshie and Frazier right now are the hopes for us in the future as a 1-2 punch. They might even be the NHL starting tandem for us next year. We will bring back TJ Brennan. I don't know if I can sign him for $18 million, but I'm certainly going to try. Again, someone pointed out in the comments they were a big fan of John Ramage. I am going to let him go, but just know I made him a very rich man, so it's fine. And Rumble. Can you hear the rumble? Well, I certainly hope so. 8 years is a very long time. I'm going to continue to go on a year-by-year basis because 8 years is a very long time. And things could change for us very quickly. It doesn't seem like it now, but things could change for us very quickly. So as far as those big-time contracts, I am going to keep them to 1 year at a time. I could go a couple of years, but I won't. We'll also sign Garvin. Getzlaf and Van Imp will sign. We might as well. Even though they're terrible, they're at least bodies that can take up space in the AHL. So we'll do that. Right wings, again, Nathan Horton. How much money did we have? $74 million. Nathan Horton will also get one hell of a contract. So that's good. And we'll also sign the other Horton. We'll say it's a distant cousin. We'll sign Dillman as well. Left wings, nobody to sign. Centers, nobody to sign. So the only thing we're going to have to do is potentially go out and sign one more person in free agency to another big-time contract just to take up cap space. Aside from that, we're good to go to the start of next year. Bishop, Getzlaf, Oshie, Horton, Rumble, Horton, Brennan, Dillman, Garvin, Van Imp have all accepted. We'll just double-check to make sure that there isn't anybody else. And then again, free agency, because we're going to need at least one more big-time contract with $23 million in cap space available. I should have just re-signed Ramage for the sake of time, but it is what it is. We're good. We are good. So the only thing left to figure out is what veteran will get a very nice severance package from the Seattle Sea Cattle in our effort to make a mockery of the NHL salary cap. And then, what kind of progression will we see from some of our players? What will the NHL squad look like? Will there be any surprises? Will Belfour make even greater strides? That is the question. So case in point, again, I'm allowed to sign free agents. I'm not allowed to go for Landeskog or Reeder or Ryan Getzlaf. You know, that's why there's these joke signings. It's to take up cap. Patrick Marleau. I don't want to sign you. I want you to potentially be able to win something. Same thing with Nash. Brian Boyle. Again, though, I want you to be able to win something. That's the problem. I don't want to sign you and have your career be over. Goligoski, there's got to be someone, right? Desharnais, Teormina, Brock Trotter, Van de Velde, Derek Dorsett is an option. Derek Jocelyn, Butler, Kaminsky, I don't know. Ryan Reeves for the AHL squad. Nick Bergfors, again, traded for Kovalchuk long time ago. Rich Clune, there we go. Let's sign Rich Clune to a stupid deal. Good guy, Rich Clune. Sign him up. Give him a nice $18 million. Hey, help us circumvent the cap, and then you can have one hell of a retirement. Clune has accepted. Off to the preseason we go. And again, will someone like Bengoa be even better? But he's not necessarily the guy I'm looking at. It's the Sutters and the Morgan Geekies of this team. Belfour, Lorentz. Defensively, we don't have much to look forward to. It's still not going to be a great situation. But hopefully, as we continue to add some decent players, I mean, we have our goaltender for the future. We'll see if he develops. In the next draft, it would certainly be ideal to get a high-end, medium elite defenseman to work well alongside the dude we just drafted, whose name absolutely escapes me at the moment because I'm still torn up about not being able to draft Bengoa's brother. So right now, though, I'm feeling good. It would be nice, like I said, though, to get that extra defenseman for the future and to really be able to sort all of this out. But you can start to see things coming together. The draft, while beyond the second round, hasn't been that kind to us. The fact that we have Bengoa already is incredible. And, of course, as long as we're this terrible, we're guaranteed a top 5 pick. We're really guaranteed a top 4 pick or better. So, or just in general, top 4 pick. 1, 2, 3, or 4. We're not picking any lower than 4, is the point. So let's set up this roster for next season. Goaltenders, we have Petit and Stankowski, who we could go with. Oshie, otherwise, would spend the year down in junior, which, again, is always the discussion. Is it better to let them play in junior, to leave them unsigned, or in a series like this, just play them at the NHL level? I gotta be honest, that's what I'm gonna do. I think that's what I'm going to do. We're going to send down Petit and Stankowski. We're going to let the boys play. Frazier and Oshie, they are going to get ripped apart, but it might work out well for them development-wise. We'll send down Brennan. We have Tishka, Wiley, Smith, Bafaro, and Leduc. Is there anybody that I want to call up? Dakota Krebs. Oh, do I want to give Krebs Rumble's spot here? I kind of do, but I kind of don't. We'll double check if we have enough spots for everybody in the AHL, if they're even there. Yamamoto, Anderson, Dolan are looking good. Sutter and Geeky are at least mid-70s, as is Lorentz. Nathan Horton and Rich Clune are going to need to be sent down, which means we're going to be calling up Dawson Butt. Because why not? And we're looking okay. All things considered, we're looking okay. Again, it's relative. It's all relative. We're looking okay, kind of. So it's Bengoa, Anderson, Dolan, and Yamamoto, all at least an 81 at the moment. Lorentz, Geeky, and Sutter. I might change this around, but again, you can see the development from some of these players. I'll probably change up the lines a little bit, but overall, I'm happy with what I see so far. Defensively, it's an outright disaster. Again, I'll probably change that, but the lowest overall guys are now at 66. The goaltending's awful, but it's by design. We could have 268 overall players. We're going to go with Frazier and Oshie. We're going to let the boys play, and we'll see how they do. Down in the AHL, we will have Petit and Stankowski. I said 268, so it's a 68 and a 66. Defensively, do we have anybody here that we need to make sure is in the lineup? Lee and Gallagher are our players, as is Van Imp. So we'll bring in Van Imp. We'll bring in Gallagher, and Lee will play for Suglobov. So that works out well. We have Chubarov and Brennan. I'm going to play Krebs with Brennan, Lee and Gallagher, Chubarov, and Van Imp. That works out pretty well. I could play Brennan with Chubarov, but we'll take advantage of having those two on the team, and we'll spread the wealth a little bit. And then forward-wise, Thomas Lundin is not ours. Neither is Rob Barney, though, the Frenchman. And I think we're good. Nope, we have to put in Savy. Okay. So just to make sure here, Miettinen is not ours. Clune is technically not ours. Again, I was gonna say I might optimize this a little bit more, but we're pretty much good. I mean, Mutala and Savy are the only two prospects of ours there. So again, I might change something up a little bit, maybe drop Horton or Savy down a line, but overall, in terms of paying attention to the AHL, it's more about whether or not any of these defensemen can develop, which really the only guy would be Krebs, and he's already 22. So there's really nothing to pay attention to when it comes to the Tacoma Evergreens. They're just going to be a bad team. Flat out. They're going to be a bad team. The NHL squad, while they're also going to be bad, the top 6 is half decent, and Morgan Geekie has developed from a low top 9 to a medium top 9, which doesn't seem like much, but that will pretty much secure his spot on this team for the next decade plus. So thank you, Morgan Geekie, for improving. Again, I'm very happy with where the top line is. Anderson Dolan still at a medium top 9. But in the future, I mean, Geekie is the third line guy, Anderson Dolan there, perhaps Belfour. I mean, really, if you look at this, the top 3 centers, we also have Chuck Lorentz. We're looking all right. We're looking better than I thought we would have been by this point in this series. You know, we're heading into 5 years in already, but things are looking somewhat promising. And for the hell of it, let's take a look, for the hell of it, at our trade values. So if we were to just take control of this team, it's rough. Bengoa's up there, Belfour, Yamamoto. It's about what you would expect. Defensively, it's about what you would expect. Bishop is currently playing down in the AHL. Or in the AHL, the CHL. I might call up a couple of players. Bishop in particular might get NHL time. So the lineup might change a little bit between now and the start of the next episode. But for the most part, you have the whole story of what this team is, and hopefully what will be, I'm trying to think of how to phrase this. It's fine. It's fine. I don't know how to phrase it. Anyway, I won't ramble. I lost my train of thought again. I will fully admit to having only been up for half an hour before starting to record this because, man, I woke up early. For once, I got the whole day to record, so I'm going to take advantage of it because we're on a roll here, as I've said, and I thank you guys for it. I won't ramble. I'm done. This episode's done. Thank you guys very much for watching. You know what you can do to support this video and this channel beyond, of course, already giving me your 40-50 minutes or so here, which, of course, I am thankful for. Links are in the description to my Twitter and Twitch. Give me a follow on both of those platforms if you haven't already. I stream on Twitch just about every night. I don't sleep much, but when I do, boy do I sleep. I will see you guys in the next one. For now, have a good one. Take it easy. Goodbye.